From Hollywood, time once again for Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for joining us. Money TV is a program all about money and what makes it happen. So presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren had a busy week, beginning with a call for impeachment of the president. If beating your opponent in an election is highly improbable, try taking him out before the election. She should bone up on her knowledge of civics, however, because while the House can vote to impeach along partisan lines, the Senate will also not convict along partisan lines, so basically you get Bill Clinton 2.0. Perhaps someone did clue her in because Warren almost immediately segged into a call for the forgiveness of student debt. Student loan debt is a $1.4 trillion issue in the U.S. affecting nearly 43 million borrowers, 7 million of whom are in default. The average student loan borrower owes $38,000. The default issue is a problem because you can't repossess a diploma. But by proposing that U.S. taxpayers take on this mountain of student loans, Warren is essentially committing that each U.S. household be on the hook for an additional 11 grand in tax debt. Currently, the U.S. is $22 trillion upside down. So what's another $1.4 trillion if it'll sway a few million votes, right? Liberal logic 101. But what about these millions of people who paid off their student loans? Would they get a refund? What about people like me who worked our way through college and didn't take out a student loan? How do we share in this pirate's booty? What about those people who took up a trade in construction, people who became electricians, plumbers, those working in the oil business, who didn't need student loans and probably earned more than your typical liberal arts graduate? Plus, what kind of lesson will we be teaching our young people about responsibility and accountability? This proposal reeks of a campaign in early desperation for attention, but the math is simple. There are far more voters without student loan debt than those with it who would likely not support such a foolish measure. And that's a math equation no one needs a loan to figure out. Now here's something you don't need to figure out whatsoever. It's our toll-free number, good from anywhere in the world you're watching the program, 888-259-4449, to get free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. Again, toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Visit us at moneytv.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And our first guest this week is joining us via Skype from New Jersey, Mr. David Koenig. David is the CEO and co-founder of a company called UCS Advisors. David, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me, Don. Appreciate it.
Of course, we talked to you very many times when you were the CEO of a public company, but now you're the co-founder and CEO of this company called UCS Advisors. Tell us what the company does.
Sure. The name of the company is called UCS Advisors and Investor Relations, and we work with both public and privately held companies in numerous sectors with a focus in the marijuana industry. And what we do is we offer investor relations services, we offer business advisory services, and we also make custom-made packages for our companies. At the end of the day, when it comes to many companies, they have short-term and long-term goals, and each company has its potential to achieve greatness. And that's our company motto, where we help your company achieve greatness.
You know, it's interesting. Have you seen anything that's like the burgeoning cannabis industry in your lifetime?
Yes, we've seen a lot of interesting things, and we actually, a great example is one of the companies we worked with is a company called Belt CBD, and they actually brought us on to help with some business advisory services and also help with some of their investor relations and to also increase their distribution. And what's really interesting is that when they brought us on, their company was valued at less than $800,000. And in less than 5 months, we've increased their valuation to over $2 million. Wow.
That's incredible. Now, of course, your pedigree is quite impressive. You speak at a lot of marijuana conferences. What are the kind of things that people seem to be most interested in the industry space right now?
What's really interesting in the marijuana sector is that a lot of people want to see how they can get involved in the ancillary services, like technology systems, CBD lotions and creams. Also, hemp is very big. A lot of people now want to start investing their money into hemp farms and getting involved in actually the growing side of hemp.
Of course, with the passage of the Farm Bill earlier this year, hemp is now legal. Do you anticipate that cannabis will follow suit?
I see in the next few years that we'll be following suit. What's really interesting is that there's a lot more states that really want to get the medical side of things going. One of the biggest attributes that we do here at UCS Advisors is we work with a lot of companies with conflict resolution, as well as a lot of companies that are not directly involved in marijuana right now actually are now saying, wait, I do website design, I do merchant services, I do insurance. Wait, I can get involved in this marijuana sector too. And here at UCS Advisors, we help them get involved in this marijuana sector.
Well, it's kind of interesting because it reminds me of the internet some 20 some odd years ago, where there was a lot of new startups coming in and there was some levels of consolidation. Do you expect the same thing to happen in the cannabis industry?
I think you're going to see a little bit kind of like the micro craft beer industry to a degree. You're going to have the people who are going to want just whatever regular cannabis, but you see people that are truly using it as medicine. And certain strains work best for their medical conditions. And it's really about empowering people with information and knowledge. And a lot of people forget that I have a medical background by trade. And by that, really enables us to talk to patients and talk to people about the different aspects and how marijuana can be used for them.
Once again, UCS Advisors, Mr. David Koenig. Their website is ucsadvisor.com. David, fascinating. Congratulations on your new venture. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Joining us now direct from New York City is Mr. Warren Wang. Warren is the CEO of a company called ChineseInvestors.com Incorporated. Their stock symbol is CIIX. Warren, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Donald. How are you?
Well, last week we discussed your record revenue results, proving your faith in the company was well-founded.
Yes, everybody was excited. Even we have a lot of selling pressure from the existing shareholders, but I saw today like 75,000 share on the bid. I think people get excited about our products or companies, and I see some negative commentary is disappear. I'm kind of suspicious this commentary may be paid by some short seller. And suddenly the people that don't get paid, they claim they are on buyer's report, but a lot of things, for example, is unfair to the company. For example, they only point to why, what your negative part. They never give you positive aspect. So I think this guy was paid by the short seller. Secondly, he intentionally attacking us for unreasonable reasons. It's not because the bias. It's not. I think his commentary total unbiased. So I was happy he disappeared. Hopefully he finally disappeared because he's paid by somebody. And I saw a lot of bid size, like 50,000 share on the bid, 49 cents. So I think the investor community is quite positive about our results, and hopefully we can deliver more good results next quarter, hopefully by 2019 fiscal years, and move on later on.
Well, Warren, there are a lot of paid stock bashers online. Many people are frankly quite unaware of that.
Yes. I even myself, I first think he's unbiased, but after he just stopped cover our company, I was like suspicious. Secondly, I think this is really hurting us. For example, some app or blog, they only want a negative article, but if you publish a positive article, they kind of doesn't allow you to publish positive articles, which is not fair. And like I said, repeat a lot of times, we are a new emerging company, like a startup, and also, it's very risky. It's like penny stocks. So the investor need to understand, what's their investment objective and what's their financial conditions. So I'm not saying we are a perfect company, but when we started, we might burn a lot of money. I saw 99% of cannabis company is not making any money. The reason is they need expansion their market shares. I'll give you an example. Right now, there's only even the biggest company, nobody control 5% of cannabis market shares. So there's a lot of merger acquisition going to be down the road. And it's perfect timing for the small company to come in to grab the market share if they can raise the money first. Secondly, they can expand the market share, get more audience, more consumers, more customer first. Thirdly, they have to worry about how to making money. So I don't see, like a blue chip company, Canopy Growth, they invest by the wine company STZ about $4 billion. They're still losing a lot of money and they still make a lot of acquisition. I think that's the perfect strategy, like a .com when they start emerging, everybody looking for gaining their market share. Like Amazon.com, they didn't make any money till 2008. And then when they become real big size company. So I think the negative article is really hurting this emerging growth company. And some short seller is attacking the company like us. Thirdly, it's not fair for some app or some media company only allow the negative article but not positive article on the web. It's totally unfair, and they just kind of encourage this happening. It's just totally unfair for the company like us. So.
Well, there are a lot of parallels between the internet industry of the late 90s and the cannabis industry of today, right?
Yes, I think if we look at the two scenario happening right now, I think for the emerging industry like cannabis, we found almost 70%. Donald, if you can agree with me on that, our research department found out that about a 70% company right now listed on the OTC market or upgrade or new listing are from cannabis industry. So it's like a .com boom, and it's called a gold rush. So a lot of company they have a limited capital resources. This is decide to go to the OTC or Canadian CSE first, and then they move on to the big exchange. So I see tremendous opportunity here for the cannabis industry and cannabis companies.
Well, Warren, why are you in New York this week?
I haven't visited my New York office for last 3 weeks. First of all, our investor relation business segment is booming. We get nice cash flow. So I need our headquarter, investor relation headquarter is in New York. So I'm coming to New York, take a look, ask a lot of people. We hire a lot of intern. They are not paid too much. So I need to give them kind of positive impact. And then I do a lot of seminars for intern to encourage them to join our company. So that's my one reason. Second reason, I think New York State is trying to become the hemp industry Silicon Valley. So I'm kind of very interested in this states, and I want to looking for more opportunity or more alliance with local hemp company in New York States.
What can we expect from the company in the coming weeks?
In the coming weeks, I think we will have some kind of press release on next Monday. Hopefully, it's finally need approved by our legal department, and then we will see more initiative on the press release. I think we excited about every day. Every day wake up, we're very excited about the potential of the hemp, and we see a lot of Chinese investors from China. They are very interested in the industrial hemp. They are very interested in the CBD company. So I think the CBD can be real big in the next 10, 20 to 30 years in the Chinese community and in China too.
Once again, ChineseInvestors.com Incorporated, CIIX. So Warren, congratulations on all your accomplishments. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Donald.
Have you heard the news? There's only one flat fee news distribution network on the market. It's called AccessWire, and it's exclusively from Issuer Direct. Any day, anytime, the AccessWire News Network can deliver your press release to more than 1,500 media outlets in 98 countries. AccessWire also delivers real-time engagement analytics. You will learn who read and shared your press release and more. Best news of all, getting started is easy. Visit accesswire.com and extend your company's news reach today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington. On Shark Tank, we always look for the next big thing. Today, it's digital currencies like Bitcoin. But everyone wants to know, is it real and how do I get started? Yes, it's real, and the best way to start is setting up your free digital wallet with SinglePoint.com. They make it easy to buy, use, and store digital currencies without banks or debit and credit cards. Use promo code SING for your free wallet and informative newsletter. That's SinglePoint.com.
We are back. Thanks for staying with us. Joined in studio now by Riggs Eckelberry. Riggs, of course, is the CEO of Origin Clear Incorporated, OCL is their stock symbol. Riggs, always a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Now, you guys put out a 10K this week, some juicy details. Can you share with us?
Yes, and remember we put out guidance that our basically our revenues had increased year over year
Right.
by about 38%, and that in fact is borne out by the fact we were up from about 3.3 million in 2017 to about 4.6. That was a 38% increase. Now, cost of sales, actually, we had a 6% improvement in margins, which is
Nice.
great. So margins, gross margins are improving, and that was also expected. And we've also reduced a number of expenses, and the overall, now we're still running a loss, and that's really where modular water systems that is not really reflected here.
Okay.
Because of how recognized revenue occurs when it's finally commissioned in the ground and
Right.
is signed off, and that's when you can count it. Only about $100,000 of modular water was counted last year.
Okay.
That is going to be the big difference in 2019. So what we have here is roughly $1 million in loss per quarter, which we can start to overtake by two things. Number one, much more sales. Number two, much better margin. I was talking to you about how we're connecting our Chinese operation
Right.
with our Texas and Virginia operations, and to dramatically improve the margins.
Okay.
Gross margins for progressive water are only about 20%. They need to be more like 40 or 50%. So that's going to be a major, major difference. In addition, there is a non-cash item, which, because I don't want your viewers to be surprised, that is a number that is one of these magical numbers. But it's about a $7 million number that relates to some debt we've had for a long time on the books
Okay.
that we plan to deal with because these are our backers.
Okay.
These note holders are a group that has backed us from day one, and they are working with us. So don't want to discount it. It is, it does show as a loss, but it is a non-cash or derivative loss. So overall picture is we grew in 2018 over 2017, and we managed to absorb. It cost us money. That's where those losses.
Of course.
We managed to absorb modular water,
Right.
and that 6-month period of developing sales was what we have now gotten into, where because we started at the mid-year, 6 months of the 2018 was the cost of modular water.
Right.
Now we're really starting to crank the revenues. So what we hope to have soon is an idea of what kind of forecast we can get, and that's where we're really drilling down on what is a really big number for modular water in terms of potential business versus what we're going to actually get, again, as machines in the ground signed off by the end of this year. But I believe it's going to be a very strong year for us.
Well, as CEO, the trends are working in the directions that you're hoping to see them proliferate, and you've got to be encouraged with what's going on.
I'm encouraged because Progressive Water continues to do a great job. These guys in Texas are fantastic, and they're really the platform that we can overlay this very sexy modular water prefab systems
Right.
concept with 25 people in McKinney, Texas who do fabulous work. So we've got that depth of bench, and then of course we've got the international network being pulled in.
Disrupting the water industry, Origin Clear, OCLN is their stock symbol. Always a pleasure, Riggs. Thanks again, and congratulations on these numbers.
Thank you, Don.
And with us now, direct from Phoenix, Arizona, is Mr. Will Ralston. Will is the president of SinglePoint Incorporated. Their stock symbol's SING. Will, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks again for having us, Don.
Now, we discussed your CBD business at length last week. Do you have further updates for us this week?
Yeah, we're very excited because our, we've got a lot of things going on within CBD, and as I reiterated last week, and I will again this week, we've really deep dived into this, and myself especially for the last 4 or 5 months now. And one of the things we found was product quality out there is improving, and we feel that we have found a fantastic manufacturer, and right now we have in production a water-soluble tincture that we're going to be launching on Amazon and going into retail stores. We actually have sent out some samples and already have customers pre-ordering because they had just really have enjoyed the product and had some good testimonials. So very excited for our water-soluble CBD product to get here. I think it's probably about a week and a half to 2 weeks for production and then labeling, and we'll be live and excited to share it with everybody.
You mentioned launching on Amazon, which is amazing. A couple of years ago, that might have been impossible.
Yeah, and there's still going to be some trials for it, but there's definitely things opening up within the hemp sales and full spectrum side of CBD, as well as just hemp oil in general. So very excited to see what we can do there. We've brought in what we believe is an expert in the market who actually used to be affiliated with Amazon and worked there. So he's going to help us kind of navigate those waters. And beyond that, we've been working on private labeling and some manufacturing. So we've got 2 products to ship next week that are going out that we've developed and for a client. And one of them is a jewel pod oil that they're filling about 1,000 pods that we're working on for them. And those will be shipping out in a week or 2 here. And we're also working on an additional product that we're very excited to share with everybody for a OBGYN, which has been a very popular need in the market. So he's formulated a product and he's asked us to help him get that to market. Beyond that, we're working with a group that's actually doing some patches. And they have met this week with a group out in Michigan that distributes to convenience stores as well as large national chains. Those meetings have gone well, and they're putting together a plan for us in terms of what they think an initial purchase order may look like. So we've really deep dived into actually the product manufacturing side as well, which has led us to start negotiations about purchasing our own manufacturer instead of working with co-packers. We'll always have to work with co-packers in some form because we won't be able to do absolutely everything under the sun. But if we're able to bring a certain amount of our processes in-house, then we'll be really being able to increase our margins and make more money in manufacturing these products.
What's the latest with your online store, SingleSeed.com?
Well, I'm glad you asked because we actually rebuilt that site. We've gone out there and surveyed the market and found that there's a couple different things that we were missing from the first launch. So we've actually added an affiliate portal, so anybody that wants to go in and sign up as an affiliate can have their own site. Any referrals they make, they'll continue to make a commission off of each sale. And we expect to launch that in the next about week and a half here. The new site is up, so go ahead and check it out. And SingleSeed.com, we've got some products and specifically targeting certain markets. And in the next couple weeks, come back and check out the affiliate site and start referring customers to your own portal.
The company has lots of experience in the space. Is that a major advantage for you?
Yeah, and again, as I reiterated last week, that because we got into cannabis and when we got into cannabis, it's really forged a lot of relationships for us. Also, being publicly traded has really helped us in distribution as far as distributing some of the raw materials such as isolate, distillate, and crude. Because that market out there working with a lot of different private individuals, you never know what's really going to happen. But because we're a publicly traded company, there's a lot of credibility and trust inherently built into that. So we've actually been able to onboard clients just based on that fact that there's some transparency in our company that makes them feel comfortable about doing business with us. So that's really become a big part of our distribution model for isolate, which is very popular right now. And we've actually got a signed LOI that we're working on creating the purchase order for as soon as we're have provided the last set of documentations to the client. So very exciting times for SinglePoint in the CBD arena.
Once again, SinglePoint Incorporated, SING is their stock symbol. A great update, Will. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hey, thanks, Don, and go Sing.
And joining us now on the phone is Joe Grimes. Joe's the CEO of a company called Tribal Rides Incorporated. Joe, welcome back to the program.
Don, thanks so much for having me.
Well, Joe, your industry space is making a lot of news lately. Of course, we're talking about self-driving cars. Tell us about your company again.
So Tribal Rides has got patents for technology so that somebody who owns a self-driving car while they're at work or while they're at home can send it out and go make money. They can become their own Uber in a sense.
That's just remarkable. I mean, you think about the things that are involved with ride sharing and that type of thing. So you get home from work, and you send your car out to make money for you all night long.
That's right. And although I'm not really able to talk about it, we're incorporating communities and social networks. So we think we're going a step above the standard Uber and Lyft software packages.
Well, of course, this particular software package you're talking about, you have a patent on this, so this is your proprietary technology.
Yep, we've got 2 or 3 more in the mill pending. So we're moving very, very strongly towards this market space and getting our IP defined.
What I find really interesting when I talk to people about autonomous vehicles or self-driving cars, they think it's something 5-10 years in the future, but it's really happening right now. I mean, most of the new cars coming out now are semi-autonomous, and there's been some big companies that are talking about, well, like for example, this week in the news, Apple's looking at software for self-driving cars. Tesla is going to have self-driving cars in the market in no time at all. It's really burgeoning. It's really right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, Don. It's really timely. Yesterday, Elon Musk, who's the CEO of Tesla, announced that they're working on a plan to get 1 million self-driving taxis on the road by 2020. Now, I think that's a stretch, but the point is that there's a lot of large-scale companies out there going forward with the hardware side, and we're very happy to be on the software side.
Well, what's the next step for the company? What do you have to do to get your software rolling and get into the marketplace?
You know, we've got some great, exciting news. I can't talk about it now, but we'll be coming back at you in a week or two to be able to enable that and to show significant progress. But right now, I just can't comment.
Of course, something else that we can't get into too much detail, but I know you're in the process of merging into a public company, which is going to tremendously enhance your ability to raise capital to get these initiatives done, correct?
Absolutely. Huge for us. Accessing the public markets is something that I think is the right time for us right now, especially given all the recent media on self-driving cars.
Once again, the company's Tribal Rides Incorporated, tribalrides.us. Check out the website. Joe, congratulations. Looking forward to hearing more incredible things from you in the future.
Hey, Don, appreciate your time, and thank you so much for having me.
Take care. On this week's Money Wrap Radio program, we're going to talk about the staggering price of the Green New Deal. For more information, to find a radio station near you, go to moneywrap.com. Call us right now, toll free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449 to get free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. It is free, as is the call, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net, and please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's our show this week. We'll be back next week. Thanks so much for joining us.